Hi there! Earlier this year, Kobo came out with a new device called the Kobo Ellipsa. That was a big deal when it happened, but it turns out they aren't done yet. They just announced two new e-readers, the Kobo Sage and the Kobo Libra 2. In today's video, I'll be doing a quick recap of what's new, what was announced of the new Kobo Sage and Libra 2, just going through all the new upgrades, as well as giving you my personal opinion of what I think about both devices. Let's jump right into it. Now let's actually start with the Kobo Libra 2. Now previously it was called the Kobo Libra H2O, and the H2O stood for waterproofing of the device. They are removing the H2O from the name. They're just calling it the Kobo Libra 2, but the device is still water resistant. So even though H2O isn't in the name, it is still a water resistant device. Now in terms of price, it is going up by $10. The Libra H2O started at $169. Now with the Kobo Libra 2, the starting price is $179. As of right now, while making this video, both devices are on sale, but I do anticipate the H2O device eventually being discontinued, as the Libra 2 is meant to replace that completely. Now with the Libra 2, you have the ability to choose white or black. It's one of the few devices out there where you can choose which color you want, which is very, very nice. And also they kept the same 1 gigahertz processor from the previous model, which I had no complaints about whatsoever. That's a really great speed for this e-reader. Now let's talk about what's new with the Libra 2. The first thing is USB-C charging. I really appreciate that USB-C is making its way to all the e-readers out there. This is a big upgrade. The Libra is a huge popular model. This is a very much needed upgrade. Very appreciated. The next major upgrade is storage capacity, and this actually surprised me quite a bit. The original Libra H2O only had 8 gigabytes of storage. With the Libra 2, you're getting 32 gigabytes of storage for basically the same price. That is a very awesome thing that Kobo is doing. I really love that they're making 32 the standard storage capacity of this model. Now the next major upgrade coming to the Libra 2 is Bluetooth support. Now the Kindles have had this for a long time now, and it's just now coming to the Kobo lineup. I really love that you can now stream Kobo audiobooks to your Kobo Libra 2 through Bluetooth. I have personally never used Kobo's audiobook service before, but if it's something that you use, you can now stream directly from your Kobo Libra 2 to your Bluetooth headphones. Now a few other changes I want to mention over here. The next thing is the new e-ink Kartra display. It's now the 1200 model. I don't really know too much about the e-ink displays. What I will say though is the resolution is the same at 300 ppi. That is not changing, but the new display that you're using is supposed to be better contrast, deeper blacks. I'm not too sure exactly. It just means a better quality display, but the resolution is staying the same. It's still a nice welcome change, new technology that's making its way to the new device. It still has that same 7-inch size as the previous model. It also still has that warm light temperature control, all of which I really love at this price point. It's a great display. One other thing that they're adding apparently to this model is dark mode. I'm always getting confused now of which e-readers support dark mode and which ones don't, but apparently this is a new thing for the Libra model. You now have dark mode available where you can have the text be white and the background be black. Now in terms of design, one thing I am very much looking forward to are the new page turn buttons. The Libra H2O had the most annoying page turn buttons. Check out my review video talking about that. They didn't work for me half the time. Looking at the pictures for the Libra 2, you can clearly see the page turn buttons are different from the previous model. I really hope they fix that. I really hope these buttons are more clicky and they work no matter where you press them, on the top, bottom, center, wherever. I cannot wait to test that out. The last thing I'll mention about the Libra 2, it is a bit heavier than the previous model, 20 grams heavier. Not that it'll make much of a difference, but that is one thing to note. Because of the new hardware inside, the device is a tad bit heavier. Now next up we have the Kobo Sage, and this device is really making me curious. It's not the new Kobo Forma. They're calling it the Kobo Sage, and they're still selling the Kobo Forma from the looks of it alongside the Sage. Even though both devices are so close in price, the Forma costs $249 and the Sage only costs $10 more at $269, but has a ton of more features over the Forma. Let me talk about those new features. The first one being Bluetooth support. Just like the Libra 2, you now have audiobook support through Bluetooth headphones on your Kobo Sage. And on top of that, you're also getting USB-C. So again, those two changes I'm very, very happy about. Just like the Libra 2, the Sage is also getting that. A few other things worth noting. I really appreciate that the storage capacity is 32 gigabytes. You don't have to pay extra for that. Like the Kindle models where you pay more money to get more storage. On the Kobo lineup, that's the baseline they're choosing to do right now. I really love that. That's great for audiobooks especially. And just like the Kobo Forma, this device, the Sage, will have an 8-inch display. I really like that screen size for reading books. Now, similar to the Libra 2, you're also getting the new e-ink cartridge display, which is better display quality, the same 300 ppi resolution, but better contrast because of the upgraded technology. Now, you're also getting waterproofing, which is very, very useful as well. Now, where things get a little different for the Sage and what you're really paying for are these next few features. The first one being an upgraded processor. You're getting a 1.8 gigahertz quad-core processor in the Kobo Sage. That's a huge upgrade from the Kobo Forma. Now, the reason why they're putting such a beefy processor in the Kobo Sage is because of the stylus support you're getting. So really, this device is kind of competing with the Kobo Ellipsa more than it is with the Kobo Forma. It's such an interesting thing they're doing. You're getting all the same note-taking features of the high-end Kobo Ellipsa, but you're getting it at the price point and the size of the Kobo Forma. Now, the real kicker for me is that the Kobo Sage also has warm light temperature control. So that combined with the 300 ppi resolution actually makes it a better device than the Kobo Ellipsa, which only has 227 ppi resolution and no support for warm light temperature control. This is just such an interesting device. I don't know what they're competing with, whether it's the Forma or the Ellipsa, but this Kobo Sage device seems to be the new best Kobo coming out very, very soon. Now, the only negative thing that I could potentially see with the Kobo Sage is that it is a bit heavier than the Kobo Forma, even though it's the same size. It has a 50-gram heavier weight compared to the Forma. Again, not the biggest deal in the world. The Ellipsa is much heavier, but that device is also much bigger, so you kind of expect that. With the Kobo Sage, it is a bit heavier than the Kobo Forma. Now, let me give you a quick recap and my thoughts on both the Libra 2 and the Kobo Sage. When it comes to Libra 2, I really appreciate this upgrade. It's definitely a welcome and appreciated set of changes. I really do look forward to trying out this new page turn buttons, and I love that the USB-C is there, as well as a standard storage capacity of 32 gigabytes. Honestly, I don't think the Libra H2O will be on sale for much longer. Libra 2 is clearly a replacement for that device, and I really do think the Libra 2 is a very strong competitor to the Kindle Oasis. I cannot wait to get my hands on one and put those two devices head to head. And secondly, we have the Kobo Sage. Now, this device, in my opinion, is completely replacing the Kobo Forma, but I'm very confused of why they're calling it the Sage and not just the Forma 2. So I'm very curious to see if both devices will continue to be sold, but it doesn't make sense to me because the Sage is only $10 more and you're getting so much more feature for your buck. And I really do think the Sage will be a better device than the Ellipsa, depending on your personal needs. For most people though, it makes no sense to buy the Ellipsa when you have the Sage available to you at a much cheaper price with all the same features. With all that being said, I've ordered both devices. They'll be coming later this month, so stay tuned for those review videos. On top of that, if you found this video interesting, check out my original Libra H2O review video where I talk about those pesky page turn buttons. You can see why I never liked that device and why I'm looking forward to the new Libra 2. Link for that on the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.